fine. So we have these conflicting stories, deeply conflicting stories. Now, I'll remind you, David Tennant sweared blind he was not returning to Doctor Who, right? And eventually he got so good at it. He said, when people kept asking him, this was before it was announced as coming back, when kind of everybody knew, before he was seen, when he said, listen, whatever I say to you, you're going to think I'm lying, which is kind of the truth here now, right? Sadly. Now, look, I want to go on record many times, I have done many times, saying it is a massive disservice to the new era that you kept this Doctor around. Like a massive, massive, massive disservice. And it feels like that was a Disney or maybe BBC stipulation. Now, I don't see Disney and the BBC being so disconnected from one another, right? I see them being pretty much on the same, on the same plane about most things, right? So, but yeah, look, I think the idea of having him still around, I mean, like, they wrote it so he's still around. I don't think that. Yes, that's what happened, right? You could Rusty Davis has said to. Of course he's not coming back. Oh, no. They could well be lying. We don't know. But let's hear what he has to say over here. David Tennant says Doctor Who is very much the end of the story. Well, it sort of started, it was more like an intro to the story, a beginning of the story. Right? He just seems to be your in emergency break glass, right? That the shooting out where Doctor Who fails, you can go back to this David Tennant one and try again. Right, it really does seem that way, which kind of belies all the confidence you said you had. Right, this whole production feels like it's floundering, and it shouldn't. It should feel like it's on top of the world, but the entire era just feels like it's floundering and confused, and doesn't really know what it wants to do. Right, it just doesn't. It can't pull itself together. Right, Millie Gibson seemingly being fired. Still no word about it from the BBC or Bad Wolf. But yeah, it seems like Millie Gibson was fired. My theory is that Doctor Who didn't perform well. I'm sorry, it didn't perform as well as they hoped. Right. We can see this from the social media reaction. It's muted. We've kind of forgotten about the specials at this point. And it's what, 2 months ago, 3 months ago? They're gone. And like, it's like, there's no real nostalgia for them, right? I remember after watching Twice Upon a Time, I like going back to it. It's just gone, right? The specials were very underwhelming. And then you had Shooting Gatwick come out, and he wasn't able to jumpstart the franchises. Of course, he wasn't going to be able to. Look, David, if you could have just shut up about your trans bullshit, you would have had, and just done a fun, delightful adventure, you would have had everybody on board. But Russell lives in a bubble and is convinced beyond convinced that anybody who doesn't think that women normally have penises, or it's a bit strange if a woman has a penis, right? You're a bigot. You're not a bigot. You're somebody who follows science, right? Science and religion is one of the very few areas that science, religion, and religion completely agree with each other, right? Weirdly enough. But anyway, so he basically had his ass handed to him. He had all this confidence in the world, much like Chibnall had all the confidence in the world until people saw his episodes. Then they went, fuck off. And that's what happened, David. They went, fuck off, right? Anyway, so Shooty didn't reinvigorate, and they're not going to fire Shooty. They're not going to, they're going to fire David Tennant. He's like, I don't give a shit. Leave me alone. Millie Gibson, I think she took the rap for the poor, the underwhelming response, right? Which is probably worse than we know, because they know the real figures. Like, the only figures you can really trust are like the live figure, which is very low. Oh my God. Like the iPlayer figures, they inflate them so massively, right? I think it's doing way worse, than we thought. It's like that bit in Star Trek, Yesterday's Enterprise, where he takes captain characters. Things are going far worse than we know. I think things are going far worse. Anyway, I think that's why Millie Gibson was fired and replaced by essentially, I think, a diversity hire. Vashta Narada, whatever her name is. Okay, I don't know. Maybe she's great. Maybe she's not a diversity hire. I don't think that Ncuti Gatwa was a diversity hire, right? Somebody in the comments was saying that they thought they was. Could be, right? I think they went in knowing they wanted a non-white hot bloke, right? And I think Ncuti Gatwa was the best non-white hot bloke that they saw, and they saw mostly non-white hot blokes because that's what they knew they wanted. Sadly, no. Having seen the first episode, which I think Ncuti Gatwa lifted it up, right? I really do. I think he was able to lift up the episode with his performance, and Melly Gibson, right? And people hated his accent, right? People just don't like it. But I think his charisma lifted up the episode. So I think genuinely he was the best non-white sexy bloke they saw. But yeah, they would definitely wanted a non-white sexy bloke, right? 100%, I think, anyway. So back to David Tennant coming back, and it's just such a diss to this new era. Whereas, oh, he's marvelous. Well, why is David Tennant still alive then? Right? And you just told us Millie Gibson's the bestest thing ever. Now she's gone, and you haven't said a word about it. Clearly, she's been fired. Right? It just seems very obvious that she's been fired. Right? And but what from your furtive non approach to it? All right. So for all you saying, I have so much confidence in Ncuti. This to me takes away my belief in that. It seems that you don't have confidence in Ncuti, and if you did, David Tennant's Doctor wouldn't be around. It's just a bizarre, really weird piece of storytelling that really genuinely did not work. I'm sorry, Russell, your bi-generation did not work at all, right? And it's not like it was something new. It's because it wasn't very fucking good. It's like, I'm sorry to be so blunt about it, but that's the problem. It wasn't very fucking good, right? If you want to do something new and it worked, it's got to be good. Look at Deadly Assassin, their reinvention of Time Lord Society. That was very fucking good, right? And so suddenly everybody forgot like the weird blue tinsel Gallifrey of the Pertwee era, right? And there was a lot of blue tinsel going on there, right? So suddenly everybody forgot that as soon as they saw Robert Holmes's satirical, sardonic Gallifrey, very much modeled on the Manchurian Candidate, right? So sad that the sequel to it, which they wanted Holmes to write, and it would have been so much better if he did, just didn't match up to it at all. As I said, some of the more recent Big Finish Gallifrey stuff with Tom Baker, Blood of the Time Lords, that feels like it's in the same universe as Deadly Assassin, right? It feels, there's been, and there's one with, what's it called again? I can't remember, but it's been pretty, what was that one? Blood of the Time Lords is the one that leaps to mind. It's set on a Time Lord moon, and it feels very much like it fits into the Deadly Assassin view. Anyway, here's the thing: if you want something to be remembered, it's got to be not shit, Russell. Right? Doctor's perfectly happy in Chiswick. He assures fans. And look, David, your smug face just is so annoying nowadays because you're so into validating, I think, mental illness and trying to encourage children to sterilize themselves in the most horrific surgical way possible, in my opinion. So David then debunked rumors that he could reprise a role in Doctor Who following the uplifting ending of the final 60th anniversary special. The recent trilogy came to its conclusion as the 14th Doctor, David Tennant, faced off against the toy maker Neil Patrick Harris, whose brutal attack provoked a regeneration, or at least something that that's what it seemed initially. Instead, fan witnessed a bi-generation. I just think he wanted to get the word bi in there. Right? I mean, you got that snowman line in Church on Ruby Road, which I want to keep repeating, much to the annoyance of most of the fucking audience, quite frankly. Right? I'm fucking people up. I keep saying, I quite like Church on Ruby Road. Right? I understand I fuck off my own audience saying that. But I think it's like, I got to have that disclaimer in because of the crazes in the world. in which the 14th Doctor split apart the incoming 15th Doctor. So shit! Before teaming up on their long-term nemesis together. It wasn't that long-term. He was the nemesis about half an hour. You didn't build up the villain. We saw the early incarnation sitting in the noble's family back garden, enjoying a quieter life after so long spent fighting. But could he return to the front lines of the planet-threatening conflict in the near future? If things don't, no, I think not in the near future. Season 3, right? Oh, actually, no. But the rumor is he's probably back season 1. Speaking to Radio Times this week, Tennant downplayed the possibility. The Doctor's happy in a garden in Chiswick, being made mac and cheese by Bonnie Langford. I bet Bonnie Langford makes a great mac and cheese. I don't know why, but I bet Bonnie Langford makes an awesome mac and cheese. I bet Millie Gibson makes a better mac and cheese. Okay, I want a mac and cheese off between Bonnie Langford and Millie Gibson. Right. Maybe with wet t-shirts, something along those lines. Well, just for Millie. The door is not any more open than it was. Than it ever was. Yes, it was. You're in universe. Yeah, you can explain being older. Yes, it was. You are. Because in Doctor Who, if you want to bring somebody back, there's endless ways of doing it. It's very much the end of the story. It didn't feel like that at all. The celebrated actor refused to get drawn into hypotheticals of what would happen if Earth was invaded while Gut was current Doctor was exploring the universe. Where he countered, you could also say why Patrick Troughton has not landed here. It's unpicks too much. I'm retired. The 14th Doctor has done, and the 14th Doctor, frankly, was shit. A pale reflection on the 10th, right? Which, sadly, right? It seems that in fact, I shouldn't expect Tennant and Gatwa anytime soon. As some had speculated, but the former star did acknowledge the show was a huge part of his life, and his temporary return was a real treat. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Fans can see Tennant present. I'm so sick of David fucking Tennant. Right, I'm so sick of David fucking Tennant. I really am. Genuinely am. So anyway, so we got that counterbalance with. So this is normally a very solid Twitter feed, right? And this sounds so credible to me. Doctor Who Production News says that's at Doctor Who PN. One of my contacts said that Anita Dobson appeared on ITV's Love Your Weekend, and that Dobson said she's filmed scenes with David Tennant. Oh, well, that's a bit of a giveaway. Can anyone confirm this? The Omnibot says Tennant is in episode 8 of season 1. Well, we know there'll be scenes at unit headquarters, and Mel and Rose are back. Will be back. But is there evidence that it would be? Why would Mel and Rose be back if they're hanging out with David Tennant's Doctor? And he's like, nah, fuck off, I'm retired. Yeah. Well, Bonnie and Shooty distracted fans posting for photos. Tennant was snuck into the Millennium Center for episode 8 finale. My BF, best friend, was a unit soldier extra on the suit. Take what you will or not. Either way, broadcast July, it will be proved true or not. Very true. And then we got that same story over here. He's back. David in the film scene as Doctor in the finale of the new season. Doctor going to a new leak. The leak, if the leak is true, then Tennant will snuck it out. Okay, same thing. So, to me, this is a kick in the balls and an insult to Ncuti Gatwa. It so is. And it's like I don't know. I just think it's playing so boringly safe. But again, that's kind of Doctor Who right now. Boring, right? Let's see what we've got over here. Doctor Who. One Doctor Who season 14 carrier makes David Tennant's return even harder to avoid. Okay, fine. Yeah, no. Okay, we know he's coming back. All 16 Doctor Who jury generators are ranked best to worst. Oh, I got to look at that. I think they want to get to more. David and Doctor Who return has settled the greatest Doctor debate. Well, it's not you, Tennant. I I might come back to that. That sounds pretty good. But the story I've been wanting to get to. Doctor Who dropping one of its most exciting. Oh, let's talk about this very quickly. Right? This is the story about the very good Blu-ray trailers, right? The very, very good Blu-ray trailers. Oh, I forgot to tell you my brilliant idea I had. Okay, let me just go back over here. So, bit of my big rearrange of my office over here. You see, I moved my Blu-rays. Back here is SFX magazine from 2006 to 2015, something like that. But you notice I got the original packaging here, and over here it's a much better Blu-ray package. The problem is these Amray cases, they were like $5 a throw or $3 a throw last time I bought one. Now they're like $10-15 a throw. So to do these four, it's going to be $60, right? $40 if I'm lucky, right? What a pain in the ass. So then I had a brilliant idea. A bunch of the of other things that have been released, like Doctor Who, for example, was the David Tennant years, a bunch of the Matt Smith ones. They come in a cardboard box, and inside you have one of those Amray cases. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those discs and put them just in regular sleeves, like that, and put them in the cardboard box. Take the case and make my own ones to cover these four, and also season 15. That'll take up even less room. But I'll be somewhat ecstatic to do that. So that was my great plan of the day. Anyway, so these great trailers, I think they reached a pinnacle with this leader one. Even though, look, it's essentially a lot of blue screen or green screen, whatever. All of this is wholly achievable on a we'll have a quick look. It's wholly achievable on a very small budget, right? It really is. One second, where is this? Where is it? I saw it today, right? It's got to be his song. I saw this literally today. Did I get rid of it today? I can't believe what a schmuck I am. Did I see it and said, oh, I'm not going to use that again. It's been out for ages now. Don't care. Schmuck that I am. Okay. Do I have a link to it over here? Where is it? Fine. You can see here, but essentially it's rather good CG, but this is very attainable on a micro budget right now. And they've done lots of these ones. This one was essentially Janet Fielding's kitchen, and on a blank set, and on this fairground, right, location. This was, again, all green screen. Looked fantastic. This, again, was just single camera, nothing. It was Vicky. The Ace one was a little bit more intense, as was... again, it was just the actors at a reasonably generic sets, right? So anyway, they're not doing these trailers anymore, right? They're saying they're going to pause them. They're not going to do them for every release, which is a shame, by the way, because my spies tell me the next release after season 15 is season 25. And I'm like, fuck yes! Oh yes, season 25. Remembrance of the Daleks, Happiness Patrol, Greatest Show in the Galaxy. And even Silver Nemesis, I'll give that another look, right? Oh, yes. I'm excited about it. So there won't be one for that. But people are very confused. Why is this going down? What's going on with this? Because the budget for these must be very, very small, and Pete McTeague was working for free, as like a lot of people were. All right. So here's my theory. Which is, it's the only one that really fits all the facts. That the what was his statement, right? And let's have a look at it, what he actually said. The collection. People, we've reaching a point where we're really going to have a breather on these trailers for a while because they're a lot of work. Okay, so well, we know they're a lot of work, but here's what's really going on. I think he put out his absolute best one, and boy, is it good, right? It's just fantastic in so many ways. I'll see if I can pull it up. 1 second, because it's very hard to talk about without. Was it Leela versus So, I think we'll do C. Doctor Who Blu-ray season 15. Here we are doing. I can't believe I got literally today is when I deleted that file. That's just crazy. It really is genuinely crazy. Here we go, doink. But yes, I do believe these are a lot of work, right? I don't think he's lying about that, right? That sounds very, 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 very feasible to me, right? So what's going on? Because a lot of work. So here's what he's really saying. Oh, well, first, let's have a quick look at the trailer. 1 second. Video file. Leader versus the Time War. Yeah, right, we'll go. Right, so this is basically green screen. I mean, you can see where it starts and finishes, and it's done well. Don't get me wrong; it's done very, very well, right? So you've got the costume to worry about as well. But again, look, fans have all this down, right? You can probably get the costume. That's how they made what was it, Dimensions in Time, I think. Yeah, this is all green screen, right? Well, I mean, look, again, the focus they did, they bring him out, focus into focus.
Gallifrey has fallen. The Time War is lost.
Yeah, they put out this stunning trailer. And then he said, oh, we can't do any more. There's too much work. There's too much work. I think what's going on is this. He was doing them for free, and he asked them to be paid for them. He said, look, I'm spending weeks work on this. You need to come up with the budget to pay me. They helped sell the sets. And they said, no, right? So I think that's why he said, we're not doing this so much anymore. They couldn't continue because it was getting a better reaction to the series itself, says Scott and Archer. Yeah, well, you're not wrong there, right? You're not wrong there at all. But that's really what I think was going on with that. He wanted to be paid, I think, quite reasonably, and they said no. And he's like, well, okay then, right? And I think by doing that, he might have embarrassed the budget, right? Embarrassed them to find the budget to do that. Fine. Ruby Sunday season 15 appearance when he confirmed despite Millie Gibson. Yeah, no, we noticed she's going to be in. Former Doctor Who showrunner. No, there's a story, man. See how far back I got to go? 10 times as brutally assaulted his own companions. Not enough of the Jodie era, I'm going to tell you. I got to go to the second page to find this. Blimey. There you go. So this I find fascinating. This story, it blows my mind, and I'm really sad they didn't actually work it out. Look, one of the reasons for the 6th anniversary specials failing so spectacularly is they weren't very special and they had nothing to do with the 60th anniversary, right? Nothing whatsoever. And it was not fulfilling. And they were expensive, and you can see they put the money on screen, and it was not fulfilling. The first one, again, everything hinged around normalizing chicks with dicks. That's what it was all about. And I think a lot of people were like, oh, fuck off. I did when I saw it. I was like, oh, fuck off. Fuck off with your stupidity. Like, enough already, right? Enough. But also, there was no connection to the Doctor Who. Now, what I think would have been much better if you had Neil Patrick Harris as the toy maker all the way through, through all 3 episodes, right? And build up his presence. Build him up and make him a much bigger threat, right? And then I think you could have delved a little bit more into into the original encounter and done face swapping technology or whatever to make Michael Gough and William Hartnell. Right, I think just a few seconds would rather than just a quick a picture of William Hartnell, which just was quite. Oh, was it William Hartnell or was it Michael Gough? I can't even remember. It was so bloody forgettable. right? But at the end, when you had the two Shooty and 14 together and Tennant together playing the game of catch, which was stupid, right? But that was a perfect opportunity for them to incorporate the history of Doctor Who, right? As they're throwing the ball, they could have, and don't tell me they couldn't work it out because by generation didn't make any sense. They could be, each one could be morphing into different Doctors, and it doesn't have to be all of them. They could have done Patrick Troughton, Tom Baker, Colin Baker. I would have liked to see, and a Matt Smith, right? Maybe a couple of others, maybe. And I think that again, using face swapping, why not? Again, why they only use this shit for porn, right? Like, I just find it very annoying that, like, okay, if you want to imagine what it's like, if you want to see Scarlett Johansson giving a blowjob, why didn't you just use your imagination? Like, why do I need to face swap? I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. But that's why I like using it. That's how I use the AI. I use it for to express my imagination, which is generally a very pervy, dirty place. But that's just me for you, baby. Anyway, so this was something that actually maybe would have worked when they would have brought back Stephen Taylor. Right, Rusty Davis' Doctor Who 6th anniversary special turned out well. No, they didn't. But they could have been hurt by one companion return idea that was scrapped. Well, again, why hurt? All right, it seems like it would have been improved to me, mate. Rusty gave pulled together an extremely entertaining 6th anniversary special. No, it didn't. But his original Doctor Who idea for the giggle would have hurt the episode. Okay, how? The Doctor Who 6th anniversary special brought back the beloved companions Mel and Donna. Mel last appeared on screen in the first, Sylvester McCoy season. Was it 87, maybe 86, 87? Donna left under the pretense that she was never to return because of blah 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 blah. They weren't the only characters because considered bringing back at the ending of the Doctor Who 6th anniversary special. The giggle, according to the episode commentary on iPlayer, I don't think I've listened to it. Rusty was originally planned to bring back Stephen Taylor rather than have him appear in the conventional way. Stephen would be disguised as a giant cow. What? Who works at UNIT? What? Stephen will be disguised as a giant cow who works at UNIT. What? Okay, I take it back. That was a shit idea. What? When the Toymaker appeared, he would jump into action, ready to fight. There is some logic but in Rusty Davis' idea, since Stephen was the first Doctor companion when he fought the Toymaker before. However, the showrunner ultimately decided he was right to cut the idea. Why was he a giant cow? What? But that's just the current era all over. What? A giant cow? If Doctor Who 6th anniversary also included the Stephen cow, it would have hurt the overall impact of the episode. This show never shied away from being kitschy. I mean, how did he go from leaving in the Savages to being a giant cow? Or disguise it? What? And how would you even? What's going on? The show has never shied away from being kitschy or goofy, but there's a line between silly and ridiculous. Doctor Who's The Giggle already includes the Toymaker's Spice Girl music on it, which I thought that was quite good, and a puppet show with exaggerated storytelling. A cow working at a unit. I don't understand the cow. Although we're within the verge of ridiculous, that makes it can't really have been a cow, like some kind of space cow or something. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry, that's just ridiculous. That's beyond ridiculous. What? Yes, we're going to do a space cow. Okay. Well, that's weird. Fine, let's do a Big Finish review or two. Because I'm telling you, Big Finish. Okay, let's have a look how they're doing so far this year. Right? Well, this is the Chaos Cascade looks woke as fuck. I mean, it's got Rebecca Root in it, and Rebecca Root's entirely feminine penis. Although I'm not sure the feminine penis talks. And I just don't like these books on tape. They're too long. They're like eight discs long each. So we got the Sometimes Versus Rosen back on Just Call saying, not woke! Not woke alert. Right? Very impressive. Torchwood I don't get anymore. That's all I don't care. Stephen Noonan. First Doctor Adventure. Not only not woke, and excellent. Right? So we got two not woke releases. The Stephen Newman one being far superior. I will grant you. And Star Cops. I haven't listened to it. I'm kind of intrigued. I think I might. Okay, somebody said they'll lend it to me, but this time I'm going to listen to it as like really with a much more intention to buy. So okay, right now I'm listening to Doctor Who, the Third Doctor, Adventures Revolution in Space. 3 episodes in out of 6. Not woke. Not woke. Incredibly not woke, right? Victory with the Doctor, I have no idea, not really interested. I'm probably not getting the Master. And I'm done with the 9th Doctor. Oh, God, so done with that. Star Cops, I wish I liked it more, right? I wish I liked it enough to buy it. And then we got Sontaran's first. So two releases, 2 not woke releases this month, right? And we're going to look at this in a second. We'll do a review of Children of the Future. But I tell you, the Third Doctor release of the month also really, really, really nails the era perfectly. And when I say nails the era, it nails it that it feels like a later Pertwee Doctor Who, right? So yeah, I'm avoiding the Sullivan and Cross stuff. I don't think they would have worked out in the not wokeifying it. And the last classic Doctor's New Monsters bored the crap out of me. So no. Who's actually working on this one? Broken Memories. Okay, Jonathan Morris has done some pretty good stuff recently, right? Yeah, no, I don't think I'm getting it. And yeah, I'm not doing the Peter Capaldi, Jacob Dubman Doctor. This one, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I have hope this one won't be woke. This is a great cover. I absolutely love this cover. The Quinn Dilemma. I've convinced myself to buy this, right? But I hope it's as good as it looks, right? It looks like it's a lot of fun, right? It looks like it's doing what they wanted to do with the Sylvester McCoy release his last day, and it just wasn't that good. And then next month, Sontaran vs. Rusons. So far, it's been a pretty darn good month. So I guess the next month must be the War Doctor Sontaran vs. Rutons. Looks like there's either a light month or they haven't announced something yet. Yeah, I'm not doing this. Who's writing this? The 5th Doctor Adventures? Tim Foley, I don't mind. Lizzie Hopefully. Yeah, no, I'm not really that interested. I'm sorry. I mean, Doctor Who moments when they made you say, what were they thinking? Well, I think we have to look at that. So it's like, yes, what WTF moments were they had? Okay, thumb sucking. But this is the entire Chibnall era, right? Part of being found and is taking the rough with the smooth. There was no smooth with Jodie Whittaker's years, right? The best she got is when she was impersonating another era badly, right? And when she wasn't on screen. When she wasn't on screen, it was much better. They worked that out for her last story, right? When she wasn't on screen, it was way better. Fans also know more than most that because the show hasn't actually been firing on all cylinders for every single of its 6 years, especially not its last few years. It's been around, whether that's a bad couple of episodes or even a bad couple of years, or about 7 years, we'll say 7 years. And again, best Doctor Who in 7 years is the last 35 minutes on the Church on Ruby Road, right? Best Doctor Who in the last 7 years. You might say it's Doctor Who. I wouldn't argue with you. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But that's the best Doctor Who in 7 years, by far, right? It's one thing when something is bad with a good thought at its core, but sometimes these things, Doctor Who has presented ideas that should probably have stopped when they're on the paper. Yes, Chibnall, we're looking at you. Let alone when they're actually committed to screen. Sometimes you'll be scratching your head and wondering how what the writers were on when they dreamed that up. That's at the lower end of the spectrum. Elsewhere, there are moments that are so bad that it'll leave you needing to uncoil yourself from a massive ball of cringe. Yes! Sorry, Doctor, we love you, but you do test our patience from time to time. Well, we'll never forget the iconic speeches and the show-stopping special effects. Oh, fuck off. The sequences. That's terrible that you're remembering for its effect sequences. We'll also never forget the moments that didn't work at all. Like number 10, thumb sucking. What a terrible idea. Honestly, the whole Autumn 55 should have been on the list. Betty! I can't argue with you. But for the sake of everyone's mental health, we're limiting to our selection to this questionable theme that bookended the episode. Right? It was awful. While everyone is running around saving the day, when things kick off at Tranquility Spa, Ryan is hiding under the table, sucking his thumb, apparently stops hallucinations brought on by hopper virus. Okay, then. As luck would have it, he meets a fellow thumbsucker, Bella, and the two of them bond over the course of the episode. Ryan is ultimately forced to leave Bella behind after she chooses to stay with her estranged mother and fight the dregs that have invaded the spa. What could have been a tender goodbye had Bella not decided to signal it by shoving her thumb in her mouth. Okay. It's a laughable attempt at forcing meaningful emotion moment with some dramatic moments, with some dramatic movement and lingering close-ups. These characters have no chemistry, and they're both just stood there sucking their thumb like a pair of babies during the big climax. Misjudge is an understatement. Well, again, it is a Jodie era. Okay, so yes, they're right about this. The idea was good, and it really needs to be redone in CGI, right? It could so easily be done. Here, one second, let me see if I can pull up the episode. Hang on. We'll go over here. Doctor Who, ba 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 ba. Very peculiar practice, Doctor Who. Oh, I say no. It's in this drive, isn't it? Oh no, here we go. Oh, Doctor Who, 7th Doctor, Dragonfire, right? It's episode 1 cliffhanger, I believe. Right, I believe. Here we go, Dragonfire 1. Doink. So is this the one? Yeah, okay. Makes no freaking sense, right? So the Doctor is walking along. 1 second. Right, walking along. Is looking around. Now, what they should do at this point, looking around, like he can't work out where to go. What they should do is they should have added in a little bit over here. Wait, do you see him before that? Like I think you see him like. Oh no, it's over here. So fine, I think so. The first time you see him is over here, right? Hang on, Ted, good bit of acting there. Okay, so what you should have had is like some kind of CGI version of this, and as he's walking, you need one shot. You see some rocks falling, then back to this close-up rock there, back to this. You see the whole thing crumble. Now you have the Doctor like going, what do I do? Right? Because his pathway is closed off. He says, well, I could just climb down, right? At that point, and then again, look over here. Like on the corner, have it all like collapsed, right? And that makes sense, right? Climb down. Now for the cliffhanger, right? What they should do though, when he's holding onto that, fine. He looks down. No, he looks down and he sees his feet. Yeah, 1 second. There, right? They should change this and have the walkway underneath him. Suddenly, some more pebbles goes on it, and it collapses underneath him. Now it makes sense, right? Now it makes sense. Look, you've got a lot of work you've got to do to make it sense and make it make sense. But that's at least doable on a budget. I want to get Cunning Monkey to do that for me. Come on, Cunning Monkey. How much is it, mate? I can't afford it. But I would like that. I would like that. Before he got shot and turned into Paul McGann's, Sylvester McCoy was doing his best to keep the Doctor going. Moments like this did not help. Well, again, this is the first season. He didn't know what he was doing. They worked it out. 87 Dragonfire, and it was the best story of the season as well. Saw the Seventh Doctor and friends do battle with an evil crime lord called Kane, who ultimately his face melted off in one of the show's most glorious villain deaths ever. I agree with you. Also, spoiler alert, episode 1 ends with Mel and Ace confronting the titular dragon. Would have been pretty great. Would have been pretty great cliffhanger, but unfortunately, there's more. And to put it bluntly, it makes about as much sense as challenging a weeping angel to a staring contest. The Doctor is walking on a cliff for no apparent reason whatsoever. He dangled himself off, then rather bring a dramatic close. The original intent was the Doctor had encountered a dead end and leaving him no choice but to scale the cliff. But the execution didn't convey this at all, and it belies belief that that all involved didn't decide to fit the broadcast. It is Bizarroville, right? Dobby Doctor, do I agree with this or not? I don't know. I think I might agree with it, actually. I don't think it did work. No, I don't think it did work. Okay, I'm going to go back to Graham. Season 3 final finale, Last of the Time was commonly known as this Space Jesus episode. And if it isn't, it should be. Well, again, I understand if you don't like religion, it will piss you off. Right? But in the same way, there's more subtle than having Yasmin Finney being a beautiful girl. Every 20 minutes, they say, oh, beautiful girl, beautiful girl, beautiful girl. Really? What's that big chick dick she's got? It's just feminine. The Tennant Doctor suddenly gaining godlike power. Oh, hello, the cat's down there. Hello, Whitey. How you doing, darling? Hello. Tennant Doctor suddenly gaining godlike powers. Well, not really. During a pretty dumb, pretty dumb, but I easily forget how ridiculous it looked immediately before this. Yeah, look, the Dobby Doctor, I can't disagree. It didn't work out right. It begins with the episode as an old man. The Master has aged him 100 years, and further display of the power ages him another 900 years. And yeah, he looks like a shriveled peanut. This pickled house elf emerges from the Tennant Doctor's clothes in what is meant to be a heart-wrenching moment. Instead, it looks like somebody left Yoda out in the sun for too long. Somebody get this man a face cream. Aside from the laughable way in which the Doctor age is depicted, it doesn't even make sense for a Time Lord. There's 1,000 years. It's pocket change. I don't think that's true, but whatever. He doesn't like the space user. The systems aren't the problem. What episode is this? Oh, it's Kablam! I was like, how is this Doctor Who? I was like, oh, it's Jodie Who. That's fine. That answers that question. Kablam is shit. Oh, and that's like one of their best episodes. Kablam begins with the Doctor and her companions getting a mysterious mystery package from, well, Kablam. It's like Amazon, but in space. For most of the episode, the plot goes exactly where you would think. They track down Amazon to go. The company is portrayed as a cold, soulless, putting profit before workforce. It even feels like everything is heading towards the big showdown between the humble workers and the evil corporation until everything gets completely flipped. The finale, the final act makes it very clear that everything wrong with Kablam is the fault of one person, Charlie, a worker who is angry with that robots are taking jobs from the humans. He's weaponized the company's bubble wrap and plans to use it to kill a bunch of customers to essentially throw the bigwigs under the bus. Granted, Charlie's hardly a saint, but the speed in which the episode pivots from anti-corporation to anti-worker is shocking. Well, again, look, this is Jodie Whittaker Who. It's just dumb. Like, it was just badly written cack. Right? It's dumb. Jodie Whittaker Who is dumb. I am sorry. Grandchild is hardly a saint, but this in what universe did the writer think that fans of Doctor Who, a show that's always looked out for the little guy, will feel sympathy for a creepy AI robot stealing people's jobs and the money-grubbing executives who control them? Some baffling messaging indeed. Again, this was all through the Jodie era. None of it ever made any bloody sense, right? It was all like just baffling. I think baffling's the right word. Right? Like this one you can't even work out. Like the critical race theory episode, Rosa. Right? At least you can work out. Yeah, boy, man. I don't know who's writing this, but I like the cut of their jib. Dr. Sasam Yoga, yes, it didn't fucking work. Okay? None of this, like, I'm sorry, it didn't work. This is one's going to be divisive, but hey, we're not here to play peacekeeper. I think you're really right. I agree with you. The middle chunk of the 6th anniversary specials catapulted the Doctor and Donna to the edge of creation, where they encountered two formless beings that stole their shapes, having no concept of how conventional life forms work. These beings take a while to. I mean, this really should have been a short story he wrote for an anthology or something. This shouldn't have been a bloody episode. These beings take a while to adjust to their fleshy avatars, leaving some body horror to define the episode. Sadly, none of it works. Not all of it works. Well, I think most of it doesn't. Certain moments, like when Tennant pops his head through his own legs, it looks like he's auditioning for Gallifrey's Got Talent. Let's have a look at that picture. Yeah. And when the pair of them grow so big they are wedged in the corridor, are both too amusing to be taken seriously, and too rough around the edges to be convincing. Ambitious, yes, you can imagine how it would have. Can you imagine how it would have looked in the 80s? But it's a clear case of the show's reach exceeding its grasp. Yes, so true. Oh, I really, really agree with this article. Also, somewhat distracting considering the episode's reiteration that the two pose a grave threat to the real universe. Yeah, it was cack, mate. It was cack. The internet joke? This must be more Jodie. All right. Okay, wait. You know what weren't funny 15 years ago? Jokes about people having to talk to each other in person. You know what is still wasn't funny. You know what still wasn't funny now? The 2019 resolution pits the 30th Doctor against a lone Dalek and a solid and it's a solid adventure overall. I don't think so at all. You got Jodie Whittaker all the way through it. She's awful. As we know, even a single one of Scaro's finest is a handful, and the twisted idea of the Dalek puppeting human is genuinely chilling. But it's very hard to notice when it's Jodie Whittaker. At one point, the Dalek drains power across the UK, shutting down all the country's phone networks and Wi-Fi. Cut to some random family trying to get the internet access restarted, and a few hopeless seconds, the mother remarks in horror, "They'll have to have a conversation, dear God." It's a lazy observation that doesn't ring true with most families, and what's more, it isn't very funny. It's pure Chris Chibnall. Pure Chris Chibnall. These poor people can't even face the prospect of talking to each other without getting anxious, so they need serious help. Sadly, it's true. It's indicative of a broader problem with Chibnall's writing, wherein he has all the subtlety of a giant Titanic flying over London, considering they had to get a bunch of actors just to set a set just for this one moment. They should have left it out. Huge waste of money. I think I'm going to agree with this. Yeah, this is what story? Tom and the Tentacle. Creature of the Pit. Yeah, this is it's near unwatchable. I mean, maybe like some serious CGI to replace this, but it's near unwatchable. It really is. It's like a giant dick. Lovely old Tom Baker played the Fourth Doctor for 7 years, and it was bound to have done some weird things at that time. That's true. The Creature on the Pit the Doctor and Romana visit the Cloris, where where metal is extremely rare commodity. At one point, the Doctor ends up in the pit himself, where he supposedly evil, hungry creature is lurking. It basically looks like a giant green blob with long cylindrical tail. It looks like a dick, right? It looks like a big inflatable dick. You can probably see where this is going. Once he discovers the creature is harmless, the Doctor attempts to communicate it by putting a hand on the tentacle and a Tennant in his mouth. Oh God! He just pops it right back in there, and it looks grotesquely hilarious as you're imagining. It's awful, right? Yes, this is something that will horrify for all time, right? The creation of the monster prop is problematic. It wasn't ready in time for rehearsals. The phallic appearance reportedly is prompted laughter in the studios when it was wheeled out. I mean, it looks like a giant dick. The efforts were made to fix the problem. Quite how nobody raised concerns before filming began is anyone's guess. Still, at least we got some funny imagery. It really is a mar on that whole season. Oh, more Chibnall. Different show. Yeah, man. Chibnall can suck everywhere. It's incredible. The Cyber Kinney. Quick detour over to Torchwood. And our baffling design choice for Series 1 episode Cyberman. It's so bad. Right? It's so cheesily, deeply sexual. In a show that's po-faced. I don't get this at all. Right? Yanto reveals to the rest of the gang he's been hiding his girlfriend. Yeah, firstly, Yanto's straight, really. Lisa, obviously, she was partially converted into a cyberwoman in the Battle of Canary Wharf. Sweet story until Lisa's cyber implants become active and start murdering people. I mean, it really is the design that so. She had heels. This was awful. I'm embarrassed. Me as a sexist is embarrassed about this. Right? This is over the top. To put it mildly, Lisa is essentially wearing a cyberwoman bikini alongside metal plates in her arms and her head. She had to roam around Torchwood Base trying to look menacing while looking like a reject from a futuristic Rocky Horror Show. Pretty much so, yeah. What the hell were they thinking? Were they probably thinking sex sells? Well, there was a lot of ridiculous sex in season 1 of Torchwood. And it was mainly same-sex stuff, but it was just so much sex in season 1. And Torchwood was supposed to be Doctor Who for grown-ups, but this was so obviously a bad decision that it's amazing it got this far. I mean, it really is, right? Where's the horror part of cyber conversion? Lisa doesn't look in any sort of pain and distress. It would have gone a long way to make the character believe. This was cack. Right, this was absolute cack. Oh my God, this is so right. This is shockingly awful. Right, this is shockingly awful. I don't know any way you can fix this. It is shockingly awful. Which reminds me, I got to pull together a show, Doctor Who that we love. Right, someone's been in contact with me about doing that. I got to pull that together. Right, classic full of absolute bonkers moments. Understandable, considering the show was operating on a budget of about 6 buttons and a paperclip for most of the time. No, it had a fair budget. I disagree with you. This was just shit. But the Secret 19 films were in the really takes the cake. The story follows the conflict over nuclear weapons when the human agitators are being joined by some Silurian and Sea Devils for good measure. Well, there's only 3 Silurians, but there should have been another way. To gain the upper hand, Silurians release the Merker, a huge aquatic beast that's definitely isn't 2 people struggling inside a pantomime horse costume. It is absolutely that. For some reason, the human doctor, Sokolo, decides that when she takes what it takes to defeat this monster is single-handedly but instead of a knife or even some chopsticks, she tries to launch a karate kick at the Merker, only to die instantly when she touches it. I mean, what on earth is this? One second. Copy link location. Copy link address. I think we need to see if I can download this. This looks like it's gonna be awesome. Here it comes. And it's so bad. It's so bad. Oh, here we go. Karate. Yeah, I just don't if they could set her up as being some kind of karate. I don't remember if she was a spy or something, but like this is just weird.
Dr. Solar.
Them being totally the best person in that scene.
Perfect. Almost.
We could have really started from here, frankly. Okay, so let's say you can CGI something believable over that. The only way you can fix that is if you cut out the karate bit, right, and just have the Mocha zap her, right? Because it's awful. I don't know. I don't like. Yeah, that's awful. No matter budget, time constraints can excuse the fact that this was one of the most stupidest things Doctor has ever done. And although it is very funny. It's amazing what it was even have to happen. JNT, hang your head in shame. A little too tight. What's this? I'm going to agree with this. What do you think of when you think about it? A strange man claiming to be an all-powerful demigod, asking a young woman to step inside his tiny box is weird. Well, it doesn't really happen that way. And lines like this don't do the Doctor any favor. Nightmare and Silver sees 11 and Clara do battle with Cybermen in the abandoned intergalactic. This is no way the worst thing ever. Theme park. The episode is mediocre and inoffensive as they come. It had good points to it as well. And takes a hard swerve into cringe territory when the Doctor drops his clangor of a speech about his companion. When Clara leaves the TARDIS at the end of the episode, the Doctor mumbles to himself that she's a mystery wrapped in an enigma, squeezed into a skirt that's maybe just a little too tight, right? Well, that's Moffat liking doing what's it good? Like doing romantic comedies, right? That's Moffat for you, right? I don't really can really be. That didn't seem cringe at all. This is not in the category of any of the other ones that we've seen. When Clara, this was clearly intended to be a moment of realization when the Doctor understands how important Clara is, but it considered he's already had several of those thoughts throughout the series. It feels unnecessary and uncomfortable. Even it doesn't even sound like something the Doctor would say. And in fact, he says it to himself alone in his box. Makes him. I don't know. I think you're being wrong about that. I disagree with you. I agree with all the other ones, right?
My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. And ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.